Jim Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from our home away from home, the Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville, which I hope you'll visit. We'll tell you more about that later on. Speaking of later on, that's when the roundtable shows up, and we'll get into all sorts of controversy, so stay tuned for that. Between now and then, some great information and great guests coming your way, including a discussion about the link between education and jobs. All that's coming your way, so I hope you'll stay with us. But first, we're going to start out, speaking of education, we have a connection to that story because two gentlemen have been doing a lot for education and for students over many, many years. Next to me, my good friend David Daggett, attorney with Daggett Schuler, and distance behind us, his partner, Griff Schuler with Daggett Schuler. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to see you.
Hey, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
David, and anybody can jump in, but I want to talk to you about this backpack program. We've talked about it before on the show. But for people that maybe just moved into the area, hadn't heard of it, give me a capsule of what it is and how it's different from other programs in the area.
Well, first of all, usually we'd be doing this in August, but we're doing it now in October with school going back shortly.
Right.
Basically, what we do is we partner with the Winston-Salem Police Department. Chief Katrina Thompson has been a great supporter of our community. I think she heads off crime by being involved in projects like this. This program with the police department, we do backpacks, very nice backpacks for kids. One of the unique things is they're completely stuffed, and I don't know if I can show it here, but crayons, paper, pens, scissors, glue, pencils, everything that's on the back to school
Yeah, turn
list.
that frontward so let's see on the camera. That's pretty neat.
Everything that's on the back to school list for kids
really
is
nice.
in the backpack.
Okay.
And what research shows is a young person who gets a good start in their education, it can change their whole life and make our communities better for the future.
Griff, how many schools do you guys go to? Because David mentioned the pandemic, so I'm wondering, it's sort of a combination question. How many schools and students do you typically serve, and how are you doing this during the pandemic? I mean, has it thrown everything off or what?
Well, one of the great things about this backpack program is in addition to working with the Winston-Salem Police Department, we also work closely with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system. And they guide us and direct us on how to best do it each year. And obviously this year things are a little bit different with the timing, but we're still delivering it to the same schools, the same students, same number of students that we have always done. Obviously, as David said, Jim, the timing is very different this year. Normally, it's in August, and our office staff gets together. It's quite frankly become a tradition of our law firm.
That's right.
Getting together in August and doing it, and so now we're delayed a couple months.
Right.
Yeah. So earlier this week, we had a party outside in our parking lot, properly spaced. Winston-Salem police officers come, our office staff. We stuffed the backpacks. Something that you'll notice is we have, I think, 6 different colors backpacks.
Yeah, right.
No logos on them, so
Right.
the kids aren't stigmatized as to which kids get the backpack.
Yeah, because not every kid gets one, and
No.
if it had said courtesy of Daggett Schuler with a big logo, it would have been great for the
Exactly.
law
Well,
firm.
what would
but
it be
not-
is a billboard, I'm a needy kid who's underprivileged.
Right.
And we don't want that. So what we do is we get these to the school administrators who can identify the pockets of the most needy kids, get those kids off to the best start we can.
Right.
And David, I
in
think the
life.
great thing is that we've heard specifically every year we've done it from the principals that have given us feedback of individual stories of kids that would not have been able to have the school supplies or even have the backpack in general if it wasn't for the program. And so it's really a great way to help the kids out that need it from the very, very beginning.
And very quickly, didn't you used to put a note in here about something? Is that
Yeah, we still have a note in there on tips on being safe, their education, those sort of things.
I just think
so.
that's
That's
great.
each one. The other thing is these are nice, sturdy backpacks. They're not a
Oh, yeah.
cheap sling bag.
Right.
They're nice.
These are great.
That they can use them all year, and it works out great for the
And
students.
this is tell me again, how many years you've been doing this?
This is the 6th year partnering with the Winston-Salem Police Department. We packed them last week. Next week, we're out with some police officers visiting the schools.
I just think that's great. Up on screen, DaggettSchulerLaw.com is a general website to read about the services that are offered there through these guys. I don't know of two finer public servants than the ones seated next to me. They do great
We have
work.
a lot of fun.
Well, I know you do.
And we have a lot of help. We have
And-
great office staff,
Yeah.
great law firm.
Great staff, great team, doing a lot for a lot of people. Thanks, guys, for doing this.
Thanks for having us.
We'll be right back after this. On Triad Today, we've talked about a lot of things on this program, and a lot of times we talk about insurance. We even had insurance commissioners for the state on not long ago. but we've never talked about dental insurance, and I want to learn more about it, so I brought in an expert in the field. Next to me, our good friend, Dr. Nick Kephart. He's founder and owner of Ardmore Dentistry, located in Winston-Salem, but serves the entire Piedmont Triad area. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Thanks for being here at the garden.
It's very nice out here.
Nice out, isn't it nice? Now, what's the difference? And don't talk over my head. I mean, just give me what's the difference between dental insurance and a dental benefits plan, or is there a difference?
Well, I want to go back to something you said. Expert. I work on teeth, and I do what I can to try to shed some light on what we're talking about here today. But insurance is typically something that you buy, like for a car, in case you wreck it or something happens, you get full replacement value. Where we call dental insurance, it's more of a dental benefits plan. And what that means is you pay for this group of benefits, and inside of that group they cover certain procedures, certain amount of procedures, and so on. And typically with dental benefit plans, actually for the most part, there's a limit on what they'll pay. And that's what people don't think. You get in a car wreck, again, your car's paid for, you go to the hospital, typically your hospital bill is paid for,
right,
to a certain extent.
But you do a lot of different procedures. Some are more complex than others, some are more expensive than others. So what you're saying is it's almost like I might get reimbursed for some of it or I might not, right?
So you buy this box, this group of this benefit plan, and inside of that they cover certain percentages. And unfortunately, it's getting to the point where these people are very good at writing these plans so that they cover certain things and certain things aren't covered, and you really have to read the fine print on every single plan to understand.
Yeah, and just as you mentioned before, and I want the folks at home to know this, that I asked Dr. Kephart to come here. He's not pushing dental insurance or dental benefit plans, but I just figured he could help me sort of work through this. And one of the things is, since I'm on Medicare, I'm interested to me. What about Medicare dental benefits? How's that work?
Well, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, Medicare, they had a lot of changes systemically, and inside of that, they offer a dental benefit. Just, I think, from basic, again, limited understanding that we do have on Medicare specifically. But most people typically buy some sort of supplement.
Right.
And inside of those supplements, a lot of them, if not all of them, have these dental benefits. And they're so varied. One could be really good and worth the cost, and some you could end up spending more.
Yeah, and because you're busy doing these procedures and everything, it's almost like we really should go and talk with our own insurance specialist to try to figure out what's the best plan. But beyond that, let me ask you something. You hear these terms like in-network and out-of-network. Now, what does that mean relative to somebody that might need your services for an emergency, like broken a tooth, or maybe does that mean they don't live here necessarily, but they knew you were close by, or what do you mean by these networks?
So all the insurance companies have networks. And basically what that means is your providers, you either work for the insurance company, or if they're out of network, they work for the patients. And we try to keep our business so that we work for the patients. We don't work for the insurance companies, we're not employees for the insurance companies, and we're not going to be told how to treat our patients by the insurance companies.
Right.
So, we are busy during the day, but we do have insurance specialists, and typically what we do is we say, if you run across something, give us a call. And for no obligation, no cost, we have our insurance specialists kind of just quickly run through, and they work with these, so they know the general ins and outs of every little nuance.
Right.
And kind of give you an idea, hey, this is worth your time and effort, or maybe it's you should keep looking for something different.
And a lot of this is going to depend on what age you are, whether you have a family, whether you have kids, all these things. So like Dr. Kephart said, just check this out with somebody that knows a lot about this. But I want to put up a plug for your practice. WSDentist.com is the website, WSDentist.com, or you can call area code 336-760-9840 to make an appointment. And again, they're located physically in Maplewood Avenue in Winston-Salem, but I know that he stays busy all the time with patients coming from all over the Piedmont Triad, and I'm not surprised at that. Hey, Doc, thanks for taking time to come over.
Well, it's nice to be out here in the beautiful sunlight today.
Isn't it, it's nice. All right. I might even give you these flowers.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
We'll be right back. On Triad Today, I'm always glad when this lovely guest can join us on the program, and she has a great title, but I'm all confused about it. Rebecca Petty Moffitt is Executive Director of the Petty Family Foundation, meaning the Richard Petty Family Foundation. Now, I know that your daddy is referred to as the King. should I just refer to you as a princess, or how do you want me to?
You can just call me Rebecca.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if I should curtsy or something like
No,
that.
you're good.
Anyway, welcome again.
Thanks for having me.
Just for people that haven't moved into the area, may not know, before we talk about the big event, just give me a quickie on the what the foundation is all about and who you help.
So the foundation is all about giving back to the community. So we do a lot with veterans. We do a lot with Victory Junction, but we also do scholarships to Randolph Community College.
Right.
And, we just give back to organizations that help others.
You do a fine job with that. And of course, during the pandemic, you and I've discussed before, that slowed everybody down.
Yes.
But y'all sort of figured out a way to do some outdoor events and things. And coming up is a big thing called the annual Moonshine Run. Now, that's not about people drinking and driving. That would be horrible. What we're talking about, it's just a clever little thing. Tell me about the Moonshine Run.
Okay, so the Moonshine Run is going to start in Wilkesboro at a place called Copper Barrel Distillery. We start at noon on the 31st, and then we'll travel from there by car. So you'll be in your own car with your own crowd.
Right.
And you'll follow a lead car and go to Old Nick Williams Distillery, which is
Right.
in Clemens, Louisville
Right.
area. And then from there, you'll come to the Petty Museum. And then from there, you go to my father's house for a dinner.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting because a lot of people were asking when we were talking about this once before, well, will the king actually be around to meet people and greet people? And the answer now is yes.
Well, actually, we don't let him meet and greet, but he is going to come out and address the crowd.
Address the crowd.
So what we've done lately is let him speak to people, but still keeping
Right.
social distancing.
Yeah, you have to do the social distancing.
So
You
there's
can't.
not a lot of hugging, pictures, autograph, stuff like that.
Because
But
if I
he
was
will.
there, I would just go up and hug him, and that wouldn't work.
Right.
So that's no, he wouldn't like for me to hug him anyway. All right, so this is on Saturday, October the 31st. It's the Petty Museum Moonshine Run. Now the thing about it is, people get to sort of tour these distilleries and see, because these are thriving businesses that employ people that make a difference in the economy, and I think it's great. You get to tour that. Some of them have little gift shops and things. But then when they get back to your place, are there snacks or a dinner or what's
There's
going
going to be a dinner, and we'll have vendors there, and we'll have a raffle and an auction and stuff like that. So it'd be live entertainment. It's just be an evening of fun.
All right, so now I'm assuming to join in on this fund, there's a little fee or something, and then that would go to support what?
To support the foundation, to give back
Okay.
to the community, but it's $150 per person.
Okay,
So, and that covers your tour fee for both distilleries and, your dinner.
right. I just think that's great, and you'll be there too. People can see you.
Yes,
Are
I'll
you
be
going to
there.
say anything to the
I
crowd?
probably will.
Because I'll just shout out and I'll say, that's the princess up there. That's what I'll say. All right, we'll just mention once again, Saturday, October 31st, it's the Petty Museum Moonshine Run. And I want to make sure we put up on screen this very important website, www.pettyfamilyfoundation.org. For the radio listening audience, I'll mention it again, pettyfamilyfoundation.org. You can find out all about the foundation, and in all seriousness, you can learn things about the groups that they help, where the money goes to, and some of the organizations like Victory Junction. And you can also learn how to make a donation, because I know you're not going to turn those down, right?
No, sir.
Right. I just think it's great. Thank you for making the trip to the garden today,
Well, thank you for having me.
and good luck on the Moonshine Run,
But thank you very much.
Princess.
We're looking forward to it.
All right. We'll be right back today. Always glad when this gentleman can stop by and visit with us. And he is Mr. Education as far as I'm concerned, and does a great job. Next to me, our good buddy, Dr. Bob Shackelford. He's president of Randolph Community College. Welcome again, sir.
Thanks, Jim. So good to be with you as always.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
Lovely. I love it.
There is a big statewide initiative that you emailed me about, and it's My Future NC. My Future NC. Now, what's that all about?
Well, My Future NC is a statewide initiative that was begun by business, government, and education leaders in Raleigh. And what it is a goal for us to have 2 million North Carolinians between the age of 25 and 44 with a post-secondary credential or degree by the year 2030. If we don't, we're going to be behind in the workforce.
So I want to make sure I'm straight on this. Folks that maybe graduated from high school, but they need some extra education to maybe get a better job or something, right?
Most of the jobs in 2030 are going to require more than a high school degree. And right now, we are at 1.3 million out of the 2 million
So we got a
needed.
way to go.
And if we keep doing what we're doing, we'll be at 1.6 in 2030. We've got to be at 2 million.
Well, speaking of doing what we should be doing, what are you guys doing to move the needle toward that mark?
Well, each college and each region is doing various strategies based on their own situation, but we have some things that we have to do. A couple of the things that we have to do in our region, by the way, this is Randolph County, but it applies to Greensboro and the whole Triad as well.
Right.
And that is, we only have about 34% of 4-year-olds enrolled in quality preschool. Then that hurts them when they get to schools. And then we have about half of our schools who are meeting standards, 21% above standards and 24% below standard. So if you have no pre-K and then you go to a substandard school, then you don't get 4s and 5s on English and math in elementary school. You get 2s and 3s, and then you're not ready for college. And then if you decide to go, you're one of the dropouts.
Gosh, it's just staggering when you give the statistics like that, because the kids need that foundation early on. And, you know, I want to say something. I want to just to brag on you for a second, because I know that that might be one of the pre-K students back there now. The thing is, though, that you guys at Randolph Community College, under your leadership, have been sort of getting out in front of this for a while, because just like the Allied Health Center that's been named after you, and congratulations about that again.
Thank you.
You're sort of tailoring things and courses so that people can train and learn about things for jobs that are readily available, right?
That is exactly right. I have said in our community many times, and I'll stand by it, I have said that I have no interest in hanging an RCC diploma on every wall in Randolph County. What I have an interest in is putting you to work in a job that pays a living that you can raise your family on.
Talk about, in the few seconds we have left, how important is this whole initiative, My Future NC and everything, to the overall economy if we make it work the way you want it to go?
Well, if we don't succeed in this, we're going to end up in 2030 needing 2 million people of working age, working jobs that require a post-secondary credential. And we're only going to have 1.6, and we're going to have a 400,000 person gap in the workforce, and that's going to have a tremendous effect on our economy.
Well, look, I appreciate the steps that you're taking individually, Randolph Community College, and working on behalf of the region too, which I know you do, and I appreciate that a whole lot. I want to, before time gets away from me, I want to mention two things. Of course, the Randolph Community College website, randolph.edu is that website, and for the radio audience, I'll mention again, randolph.edu. And if you want to learn more about the initiative that Dr. Shackelford was talking about, you can go to myfuturenc.org. That's myfuturenc.org. Dr. Bob Shackelford, thanks for all you do, sir.
Jim, thank you. It's a privilege and always good to meet with you.
All right, sir. We'll be right back after that. Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a reminder, hope you pick up your copy of Yes Weekly. It's free. It's just about everywhere. And if you can't find it everywhere, you can go online. And also a shout out to our good friends here at the Senior Botanical Garden for hosting us. Their website's on screen, seniorbotanicalgarden.org. Please come out and visit, and you can have your small weddings and all that stuff. Now to the roundtable on my right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster and journalist. Social distance behind him are two great guys, David Daggett, who you saw in an earlier segment talking about the backpack program for kids, and of course Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, the State Board of Elections has forbidden police or sheriff's deputies from being posted at polling places. Now, are you okay with that? Or are you worried that if they're nowhere around, that there could be other types of people to intimidate voters, like poll watchers who aren't supposed to be poll watchers? Thoughts, Ogie?
Yeah, I'm confused. I think I'd rather have a sheriff there than one of Trump's goon squad with an AK-47 in his hand.
David, what do you think?
That's intimidation.
I think we don't know what to expect. I don't like militarizing the election sites. So if you have law enforcement at every site, I think there's a possibility you swing too far that way. The flip side is if you have people out of control, we could go too far this way. The problem we've got in society right now, the pendulum is swinging so broad, it's hard to define where those fences are.
Right. Keith?
I think they should be worried about having more polling sites. That's what I think. They should, instead of less. And I think that they should have some presence, police presence, because I believe that there will be a lot of interruption in this polling cycles, and a lot of people will be there to disrupt the polling places.
People
so they're
that
going to have some some form of security.
Yeah. Now, as Congress and White House debate whether they're going to even have another round of stimulus checks for everybody, and it looks like it could be next year, if at all, maybe January or something. Here's some good news for one group of people. In overturning a lower court decision, a U.S. district judge ruled that people who are incarcerated, prisoners, may receive stimulus checks from this year's budget. Guys, you okay with convicts receiving stimulus money, Ogie?
Well, I mean, if they worked and earned money, I guess it would be nice if they could put it in an escrow fund to have something to build on when they got out of jail, rather than spending it all on cigarettes and dope and joint. You know?
Yeah, David.
I mean, I think that's a different issue. A stimulus check is supposed to stimulate the economy.
Right.
He can't stimulate the economy, he or she, while they're incarcerated. I don't think they should be getting stimulus checks.
Keith.
That defeats the purpose.
All right, Keith.
First, I don't like the word convict. I think it's
agree.
a bad word. The second thing is the.
Did I say convict or what?
You did say convict.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm apologizing for, but
But I think that if they've worked and they put money into it, one of the things that happens when people get out of prison is that they don't have any money. So when you get out of prison, if you don't have any money or any way to get a job, what do you do? So I think it's important that we continue to support people so that if they get out of prison, there is some
so
type
as they start to be
support system for them to get back.
right. So when they get out, then the ex-offenders can maybe have that in their bank account. or something.
Exactly.
All right. Last week, if you ask Cal Cunningham's, we asked each other. We talked about Cal Cunningham's extramarital problems, and we said, is it going to make a difference in the election? Well, now since then, he's being investigated by the Army because he's a lieutenant colonel in the reserves. They're investigating because adultery, if he's found to have committed adultery, that's against the military code. Now, which means he could be dishonorably discharged. Will that have an effect on the election between him and Tillis, Ogie?
Jim, there's no such thing as conventional wisdom anymore. You remember last week I said that he's going to lose a couple of points. That was like a no-brainer.
Right.
Obviously he's going to lose. He went up. He went up 2 points in the polls. Yeah. So who knows? I don't
knows?
think it'll matter.
David.
This is a different day and time. You would think it would have an effect, but there's so much craziness out there that this really isn't that big a deal in the broad spectrum.
Keith Cranberry.
It seems like the government is politicizing politics. You've got the Attorney General suing Melania Trump's a friend for writing a book. I've never heard of that before.
No.
So this is par for the course, and so I think people will look at it as such, and he probably will benefit from this attack.
All right. Since you mentioned the Trump administration, recently the president retweeted something that was a false accusation saying that Joe Biden was a pedophile, which he isn't. But the thing is, even though Twitter's making all these reforms and they're trying to change things and filter out things, same with Facebook, the official from Twitter said, well, retweeting something about Joe Biden being a pedophile, and I'm going to read the quote, is not a violation of Twitter rules. Guys, should Twitter be regulated by the federal government and fined for allowing such kind of information to get out, Ogie?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to believe. I mean, they're flagging a lot. Twitter and Facebook are flagging a lot of his crap.
Yeah.
But how did that get by?
But they
How
still
is that
leave it
not
up.
a violation?
Yeah, even with the warnings, David, they still leave it up quickly.
Well, here's what I think. The legal system trails society a little bit, and it hasn't quite caught up yet. I think you're going to see things like the laws of defamation that cover broadcast media start edging their way into social media so that we have a landscape that's a little bit more controlled, regulated, and fair.
I agree. Quickly, Keith.
I was getting ready to say what David said. I said they should be sued for defamation of character if you're taking information and you're retweeting it, which is false information, and know it's false.
So
All right,
some things most people don't know. President has absolute immunity on defamation.
Yeah, I know he does. That's a whole nother
Yep.
problem.
Oh,
Now, speaking of all those problems, here's the final thing. According to the Zen Herald, which I think is a website, if you put salt in your shampoo, then your hair will be healthier. Guys, have you ever put salt in your shampoo? Ogie? No,
I'm kind of a Zen kind
You're
of
a
guy.
Zen
you
master.
know.
Have you,
I have never done it, but I might. I mean,
David?
sure, I'd try it.
It
Why
turned
not?
me white. Come on, Jim.
Keith, have you ever put salt in your shampoo?
You know, I have not tried that, but my hair is so luxurious that I may try it and see if it helps. But I don't think it's going to
I'll
help
tell you
me.
what you ought to try. Well, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this, a Charlotte area hotel is doing something to help out small businesses. They're turning their hotel rooms into office space. Each office includes Wi-Fi and a bed. Works for me, said Cal Cunningham.
No, Jim. No. Don't start today.
For all of us here on Triad Today, except for Ogie, he's doing some Zen stuff. We'll see him.